Lights, camera, action.
In a studio where local filmmakers talk to other filmmakers about the inside world of film.
Cut.
That's not the script. It. We'll fix it in post. Do you wonder how films are produced and what really goes on behind the scenes? Well, stand by. Filmmakers Kevin Munfrey, Victoria V.A. Jones, and Carson Hype Ferguson explain all the details. Right here on It, We Will Fix It in Post podcast.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Whenever you're listening, I thank you for doing so. I am Kevin Munfrey, and once again, this is We Will Fix It in Post. I am with my colleagues, Karsten Hyde Ferguson and Victoria V.A. Jones.
What's going on?
Today, we have a guest. We're talking to actor Hasaan Rasheed. How are you doing today?
I'm excellent. Alive and well.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to hear that. This will be a very awkward interview if you weren't alive.
That part.
Now, we want to start it off with, what got you into acting?
So crazy part, I actually steered away from not wanting to be in acting, and I guess what officially made me change my mind and get into the journey of it was really just I woke up one morning and just realized that I wanted a change of lifestyle and do something different. I ended up retiring from teaching as a college professor 8 years.
Oh, what were you teaching?
Wait, where were you teaching? Oh no, where were you teaching?
I taught at Auburn University, Philander Smith College, and Arkansas Baptist, the Arkansas Baptist College.
And what were you teaching?
I taught kinesiology and physical education. Everything in the field of those courses.
I can't even say that. What is that?
Kinesiology, man. It's the body movement.
Oh,
They get the body movement.
That was just a whole lot of letters for me.
Whoo. Oh man,
you got me nervous on that one.
He thought you was talking about the Kama Sutra.
Oh no.
Oh man.
Anyways,
that did sound like advanced Kama Sutra. What they got going on in Auburn? But so, what was going on in your life at that point that made you want to change and look into doing another career path?
So I've kind of always had, I guess you could say, multiple things going on in my lifestyle. At that time, I was a full-time college professor, track coach, running my after-school kids programs for my nonprofit, and then training. And I was working on my doctoral degree at the same time. So
that's a lot.
I kind of really stayed in the classroom. I think, my passion for teaching, and which was also something that I told myself I never wanted to be, because both of my parents are educators. So I always thought, I don't want to be an educator. Grew up around it. I want to be a teacher. Went to grad school, got an offer, couldn't really turn it down. Ended up in the classroom. Ended up loving it a lot more than I thought. Every year I told myself I would get out of it, and here it was 8 years later, and I was still in it. Every year would be a new crop of students to impact, and I started as a young college professor. I started teaching when I was 21. So I was the youngest in the field, and my experience was much different to be able to offer the students from a life point of view, and then also how I taught in the classroom.
That should be a movie right there.
I'm telling you what,
it's one that's gonna come. It's gonna
come.
This
man, I'll tell you what, he don't like sleep. I thought I didn't like sleep, man. This man said I am allergic to sleep.
I'm trying to figure out, when do you have time to eat or sleep at that moment in time? I thought we were busy people.
It's been, time management has been a special part of my life.
I bet it is.
This man busier than Elon Musk. Man, look. Man, I need to
Yeah,
check
I
his carbon footprint.
I got to get a cameraman to start following me full time here. You know, I'm because I will be making a life story probably sometime in the next year here. Just kind of all the things that most people don't have a clue of what I actually do in my real life. That sounds like a movie for real. You know, so,
Oh no, you probably need 2 or 3 of them. You don't want to wear them out.
it's gonna be some
You know,
things.
like they don't pick them up, and put them down like that.
Now, when you got to the point to where you wanted to kind of change from one career to another, like what was it about like acting that kind of gravitated towards you?
So it was really more so the movie. I actually got offered to back in college, just doing a little skit, a play, with Tyler Perry to work with him, and didn't I a little extra things, didn't really like it, hated it really, and was like, yeah, I'm never gonna get in the movies, never want to do movies. Where after, I was offered the job with Tyler Perry, saw him again when I was on the Oprah Winfrey finale show. Still talked to him again, still didn't want to do it. It just wasn't something I was into. What I realized years later, when, and this kind of all just kind of simultaneously happened. So I've always been into Marvel and superhero movies. Like my training company is, it's built off superheroes. What I implement in my kids programs is just kind of saving lives, giving hope, all that kind of stuff. That's always been my character. So this particular movie, with it being superhero based, it also happened to be my oldest brother, who I had also lost during the same week that I left the college. It's happened to be his favorite superhero. He's the one who got me into superheroes, comics, video games, all that kind of stuff.
So who is your favorite? Who's your favorite superhero?
Superman.
Really?
Yeah. But it's kind of been. I'm kind of like a combination hero. Like I
need to hear more combinations.
Fan. I'm a Black Panther fan. I'm a Flash fan. So it's just I got different.
Wait, what version Flash?
Characteristics, huh?
What version Flash though? Because there's a bunch of them.
I like the regular DC, not the old Flash, the new Flash.
Or like Barry?
Yeah, I like Barry. His sarcasm is more so up to speed on my character.
Okay, I can understand that. Well, now you kind of like brushed apart of use on the last episode of the Oprah show.
Yeah, I was one of her special guests. They consider me one of Oprah Winfrey's kids because she helped put me through college while I was at Morehouse. So for every year, she helped me after my second semester freshman year. I was about to get kicked out due to finances, and I had already, I was a boy out of Texas. Could have went to any school in Texas that I wanted to for free, just because of my ranking and where I graduated at. And I decided when I was 11 that I wanted to go to Morehouse, and I wasn't gonna let anything stop me or anybody, And so that was I spent a good portion of going into my second semester pretty much going in and out of the financial aid office for 3 weeks straight until they gave me some money. I told them I wasn't going anywhere. I wasn't going home. Giving up and going back home wasn't an option for me. And that's when they finally called me in by the 3rd week, once they realized that I was going to be bugging them every single morning, and said, that I qualified for Oprah scholarship and met her requirements. And that's when she gave me a good portion to go towards what I was needing every semester until I graduated. And then I got a call a year after that from her show saying they wanted me to, come on and be a special guest, as a gift for her for the last show and surprise her, for basically being generous and doing what she do best, and so
Yeah.
that was
Shout out to Oprah.
yeah, like
Exactly.
I mean
And
she
you get a
did
car.
lot.
And you get a car.
right,
Now we
I'll
I'm
take an
playing.
education.
I'm playing.
Look, I
Yeah.
get the car later. Look.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so it worked out well, and like I said, it opened up some other doors, introduced me to quite a few people. So I met a lot of the people of who's who in entertainment, at that show actually. Patty LaBelle. I mean, anybody who's big in the industry, I met literally all in that one day. Ended up at some of the little after events with them, kicked it, really got to know people's personalities, and just, just genuine down to earth people. Cause I've never been one of those celebrity starstruck type of people. I treat everybody, with the same respect, and so it invited me in different circles because of that. And they saw, that I was just a genuine dude, always smiling, just good energy, and so, I kept in contact kind of along the way until I lost my phone from that year. I think I had a flip phone at that time period, something like that.
Oh, man.
Oh man.
But it ended up kind of getting me back to the point where when I got to this stage in my life, I kind of I kept myself purposely in the classroom for a while so that I can concentrate on actually completing my doctoral degree, because I knew with the type of knowledge and hustle that I have, that if I didn't have something to restrict me, I would just and I would be out there and I would be making good money and successful, but I wouldn't have finished the mission that I started. And I've never been one to start something and not finish it, even if I don't like it. I got to a point where, it was like, it's not even about the money. It's about just, I'm kind of one of those overachievers. If I'm going to be in something or I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it to its maximum capacity. I figured the type of field I was in, with training and athletes and the sports realm, it's like, well, everybody has a regular degree. Everybody can call themselves a trainer, but if I'm going to do this, I'm going to be at the top of the food chain. I'm going to be a doctor in the field. I'm going to be educated. I'm going to have the maximum education I can get out of this. And then I'm going to use that to educate others. Why? Because in my field, it's normally rare for anybody to even take it to that level. Most people, they stop at a certain extent because they feel like, oh, well, I don't really need that to be successful. And for me, it wasn't really necessary about how successful I could be, because I know how to be successful in anything I do. It was more so maximizing it out to its top capacity of knowledge base, of class. And so once I got to the point where I felt like, okay, I've restricted myself enough and I'm kind of getting worn out with this, and it's kind of taken away from my lifespan of where I want to be, it was like, all right, let's change the pace. Let's do something different. I'm already at the end. I finished my doctoral degree by then. I only had my research left. So I was like, okay, I can change up some things and I don't have to restrict myself as much. It just so happened that same week when I literally left the job, lost my brother, and then got this opportunity. I was heading to Atlanta just to go camp out with one of my brothers. And just so happened it was having auditions that week. One of my frat brothers hit me up and was like, yo, you should go try out. They got Black Panther auditions. And it was like, well, yeah, that's right up my alley. Warrior stuff, fighting, action, fitness. Like, that's my entire life. Superhero stuff. I'm like, okay, hands down. And I was excited about it. And it was kind of a change of scenery and pace for me, for my mental mindset, because I was spaced out in a lot of places at that time, at that time period. I was trying to figure out my next step in life. I was still grieving. It just was a lot of things going on at once, and so I felt like this change of scenery and something that I actually was excited about because of the fact that it involved superheroes and fitness all in one. I figured it would be something that I might find a liking to, and I did. I got on set. Well, I got hired to actually be one of the 10 main Kings guards for the role, and then that kind of just escalated. I was considered what they call the redhead Kings guard because my hair color is just very different. My natural hair color is very different, and it didn't really go well with them trying to add stuff to it. It wasn't cooperating. But it turned out really well because I was the only redhead Kings guard, and you could recognize me in everything. You
Right.
know?
You look
So
at the move and be like, there I am right there.
Yeah,
And be like,
like,
how you know? Look at my hair.
yeah, like it's like there was no question about it because they didn't have anybody that could replace me, and then of course, like I said, I just looked so different from the rest of them that you knew, okay, yeah, that's the son right there. We see him. Even if it was just a speck there somewhere, it's like, okay, you know, the guy with the purple suit on, red hair, yeah, definitely, hands down, you know. But 2 weeks ended up turning into almost 7 months, you know, and this was like that's the most that really, I guess at the time, that's a long time period for an extra to be on set. You know, like most extras don't spend that much time on set. You know, it was to the point where I was in all of the scenes with a lot of the A-list actors. I spent, you know, days, hours, lunch, breakfast, you know, eating with, I mean, we pretty much became like one big family for the time period that we were there, you know. And what most people didn't know was I was getting off working here in Little Rock, Arkansas, and was traveling back and forth to Atlanta almost every other day, you know, which is like an 8-hour drive. But
wow,
I was leaving 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night from working a full day shift and was driving in the set at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and working another 12 to 16, you know, so it was I was like a zombie almost for a year. I don't even
true definition of no days off. That's what that is.
Off.
So now we're talking about you at the Black Panther. So kind of like describe this. How was the audition process?
It was actually quite funny. It was the first time I actually really did an audition, so I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what to look for. I didn't even know if I was coming correct. You know, I'm standing in this line, and mind you, it was a line outside of the studio warehouse building that was probably all the way through the parking lot. I mean, like snake wrap.
So probably like hundreds of people.
Oh yeah, like hundreds of people, like waiting for hours, you know. And I'm random, so I'm in the line just doing my little exercise stuff and just talking and waving and smiling at people, you know. And it took a while to get there, but I'm also observing and listening to people and conversations and stories and kind of just I'm really trying to figure out, because of the fact, like I said, this was new for me and I've never been in the movie industry to this point. I'm trying to figure out, okay, do I even have everything I need to be doing this interview? Like, am I missing something? Should I have brought something? I literally just showed up, you know, with the hopes of, okay, well,
do I need to bring a resume or?
Yeah, like I'm like I don't have no background in this. I don't have no film ready. I'm seeing people with their little sheets and stuff, and I'm just kind of looking around, just observing, like, okay, I don't have that. I didn't bring that, and it's just like, all right, well, I'm just gonna go in here and do what I do best, freestyling and wing it, you know. And that, I mean, that's just really been the story of my life. I always tell people, I say, you know, sometimes I don't always have the answer to everything, but I'm not going to show you that I don't have the answer either. You know, you're going to have to find that out the hard way.
It sounds like good acting to me.
Oh yeah. That's what I realized. I said, you know, I think I've been acting longer than I actually think I've been acting. You know, you know, but they got a chance to, you know, and I guess it was different because seeing the different body types and people who were just going in for certain roles, I was like, okay, well, you know, I know me particular. I was like, I want to be obviously in one of the warrior roles. It's like that. I feel like that's the best role for me. That's what's going to fit, you know? And so, but I'm seeing some of these other guys in line, and it's like, you see all these different weird body types everywhere. And it's like, okay, all right, I wonder what they're going out for. When they're, you know, and then I'm kind of just listening in on everybody else's stuff, you know, just taking notes really. It was a real observation period for me. And then I got up there and it was like, okay, they just asked a few questions, took a couple pictures, took my shirt off, they turn here, turn there, and it was like, oh. But I think the funniest part of it for me was like everybody's reactions, because you had the option to take your shirt off or keep your shirt on. And it was puzzling me because it's like, okay, well, if you're going out for certain roles, like, why wouldn't you just show it all. Like, you know, you here to sell yourself. So
Right.
sell yourself, you know. And I'm looking at some of these guys who are like supposed to be fit, right? And I'm like, okay, all right, yeah, he probably gonna do this, he probably gonna do that. And then I'm
Oh,
watching,
they're gonna take that shirt off.
yeah, you know, but it was one of those where it was like they started taking shirts off and stuff, and I was like, oh, okay, this is too easy. You know, it was like, oh, this is what I'm up against.
Oh man, he said my shirt off. He said
There's no competition here.
That's light work.
Right. Only thing you want me to take off is my shirt.
Yo, my man say, "Is this your king?
I'm like,
Is this your king?"
I said, I might not have no acting skills or no background or no resume, but I'm about to kill him with this physique.
They just show up in the audition. Y'all ready for this?
Yeah.
Y'all may want to put some background music on for this. Y'all good? Y'all want to do it again?
So-
I take it out again. What?
So how was your first day on set? Like, go through that. Like, what was the experience?
First day on set was hilarious. So, well, I got to tell you this part because it'll make sense for what happened on the first day of set, right? So when I got hired and they brought us in for like the wardrobe to get fitting and everything, right? I had told them about my hair. You know, I was like, my hair, I got 4 different natural hair colors. It changes according to the light or the sun. I signed a contract for you guys to dye my hair, cut my hair, do whatever you want to do. But I'm just letting you know, I say even my eyes, they change, they get lighter. It's kind of the same way. I'm still trying to figure my body out. I don't know. I'm just giving you forewarning of what my body does. And the lady is like, well, she's like, ha ha, and my eyes go hazel. She was being sarcastic, and I'm like, all right, I know it probably sounds real far-fetched because she asked me what color my hair was. She's like, oh, that is just too bright. And I was like, I honestly don't know what color it is. When I left this morning, it looked dark brown, but apparently it had gotten like, I guess it went to like my kind of bronze reddish color by the time I got there. So I was like, I really can't tell you. I'm telling you what goes on with my hair and my natural body so you guys are aware because I don't want no confusion. And so this happens at the front of the studio. By the time I walk to the back of the studio, my hair color darkens up. And apparently, I guess they had planned on putting this little wig in, or like a braid, wig braid. And then that didn't go according to plan. By the time she turned around and saw that my hair color went darker than what it was when we just left from the other side of the venue. And so she's just looking at me crazy. And it's like, she's like, what'd you do to your hair? I just walked from the front of the building to the back of the building. I didn't have time to do anything to my hair. I just told you what my hair did, and you looked at me like I was crazy and made this sarcastic joke.
Surprise.
Here we are. And so they take pictures of me like this. So we get to set on the first day, and it's this whole, it's like a whole, I'm not gonna call it an argument, but it spent an hour of a whole lot of conflict with just my hair. Right. So apparently somebody didn't get the memo that this one particular Kingsguard was supposed to come in and look as himself. No changes. Right. So they're like, okay, well, we're going to take him with the rest of the Kingsguard and do with him like the rest of the Kingsguards. No, this one is supposed to remain as he was. So this is how I end up actually running into the director, Ryan Coogler. Met him, didn't even realize it was him. And they had took me from like 2 different wardrobes. One dude went in, tried to use some permanent spray to spray color my hair. My natural hair bled through the color and made it look really weird. And so they took that off, and then they were just frustrated because it's like, why does his Photoshop pictures look exactly how he is right now? So they end up getting me in there, and then finally Ryan came in and was like, no, this is the Kingsguard that I wanted to remain as himself. He already has the look that I want naturally. And it literally was a whole hour on set that morning just with my hair because it was so much commotion on what it was supposed to look like. And they was
While all this is going on, are you just kind of like just awkwardly standing there?
I'm just kind of taking it all in and just I'm trying not to bust out laughing, but I'm just kind of just smiling at everybody like, you know, I tried to tell you, but you know, I'm just here. I'm just here. I'm just going. You direct me. Y'all do what you want to do. You know,
Does your hair
I'm not
change
kinda,
color while they're arguing
huh?
or debating? Does your hair change color while they're debating?
I wish it did, but it didn't.
Because I'm just imagining them just arguing, debating, like, wait, wasn't his hair brown just 10 minutes ago?
Right. That
It's red
would have
now?
been hilarious. That would have been hilarious. But no, he didn't. It didn't do anything at that time period, and so it ended. But it did end up. It introduced me to quite a few people in that first day because they was like, "Oh, okay, all right, well, yeah, this guy is very different."
I feel like the whole set knew who you were.
Huh? Oh yeah. Oh, they definitely knew who I was then. They didn't know before. They definitely knew then. And then what happened? They ended up once they kept that the same. They brought me around. All of us had to line up after we got our costumes and everything going to make sure we were all looking the same. And so they got to me again, and then it was a problem because my top hair colors do something different than my facial hairs, right? But I have
it's just always something with you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You're gonna get an adventure. So they realized, okay, well, his eyebrows is doing something a little different, and his mustache, you know, they like it's different from the top. And then they put this little special light on. They're like, wait, he's got like a bronze looking orange or something up in here. And so I'm just listening. I'm not saying nothing. I'm like, I can't tell you what's going on up there. I'm not on the top of my head. Y'all probably see something totally different than what I know. I don't know. I'm just here. And so they're like, oh, no. We gotta his eyebrows and stuff. It's gotta match his top head. So they get to trying to work on my eyebrows to get my eyebrows and my beard and stuff the same color as my top head. It gets to the point, it's so weird, right? They're like, whoa, wait a minute. Oh, now he's standing out too much. It gets so weird. They're like, oh, okay. We got to cut all the beards off all the King's Guards.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yeah. So, you know, that didn't go too well for all the other guys, especially
right.
the ones who had full beards. I mean, I didn't care about my beard. It wasn't sentimental to me, but you could tell the other 9 guys who were there was a little bit salty because it was like, what? We got to do what? Hold on. Cutting our beards. Baby face, yeah, it didn't sit too well.
And some people can't pull off baby face. Like
right.
They need the hair on the hair on the.
They
chin.
need
They
it.
they grew it for a reason.
They need all of it. So, but it was funny because it was like, dang, you signed that contract. Don't do like you know you gon' leave or you gonna let them whack you. You know, you got one or two options.
Right.
You about to make history with this movie. It's Marvel. How bad you want it? You know, it made people really question, like, do I really want to do this? I've been, you know, especially some of the ones that had been growing their beard for a long time. And I felt bad because I'm like, dang, like, I'm just kind of looking at everybody like, look, man, like, I tried to warn them, they ain't listen, and this is the consequence. Like, it's happening, you know. But
I'm just imagining they shave someone's, and I was like, oh no, we can't even use them for the movie anymore. No, this ain't gonna work.
And some of them, it ended up like that where they didn't get used. You know. Yeah, like. I was like, yo.
They're just like, damn.
All I can say is my bad. You know, it's like, you might want to work on that hair, bro. You know, they got some serums for that. You know, help you get your stuff back. You know, but yeah, it was funny. And then we had once we finally went to set, because that took us, wardrobe alone took us probably about 2 hours, maybe 2.5, 3. Between that, eating breakfast, getting dressed, costume, hair. It was a couple hours process and then waiting. But we started filming about, I think it was about 4:30, maybe 5 that morning, and it was still like freezing cold outside. I mean, it was probably 30, 40 degrees that day, and it was it was it was it was fun. Like it was an adrenaline rush going because obviously for me, I hadn't had no sleep and was just fresh off the road, so my adrenaline was just very different for everybody anyway because I would just come on set just geeked up. You know, I was fresh off no sleep hours, would just be working out. I would get everybody pumped up. You know, hey, let's hit these jacks, let's hit these push-ups. You know, we gotta look good for these scenes. You know, just I was just being me. You know, but it was mainly because I was fueled off of no sleep. A lot of it was, you know, it was just I was in zombie land, but I had to keep myself going so I wouldn't shut down. We ended up on set, and it was wind blowing so cold. I mean, it felt like it could just whip by you and cut you. It was so cold. And once they finally cut all our beards off, of course, and we got these little, like our uniforms, the back was out. You know, we got these little skirts on, just some tights. You know, we had probably the least revealing uniform out of everybody. You know, and then in the main scene we had, they decided to take our cape, which was the only thing we had really keeping our backs warm. You know, and so. But the fun thing about it was, for me at least, they chose me to be in that. My first scene they chose me to be in was in that scene where Chadwick landed and he was coming to see his mom. When he landed in the plane, it was they had me in one of the planes that was stationed right next to him as he got off, and so it was fun to be out there. But this was the part it reminded me of why I hated being on set and doing movies, because of the 30 and 40 takes. In this particular scene, it was like 30 or 40 takes out here standing, freezing, and trying to mentally tell myself that I wasn't going to freeze to death because it was so cold. And you couldn't move. So it was like standing still in one place. So every time they would cut, they would see me out here on this random fake little plane, hitting some push-ups or some sit-ups or doing something to keep my blood flowing. You know, and then they realized, it's like, man, this dude is really out here like exercising. It's like, yeah, freezing over here. Like, they didn't give us the big chinchilla coats. You know, the extras, we got the thin little paper, you know, little things you get out the dollar store, look like a little poncho, and was like, yeah, here, keep warm. It's like, what is this? Like,
you got the windbreaker.
Yeah, little windbreaker. Like, are you kidding me? You know, I'm like, I know we not A-list actors, but y'all gonna need us not to freeze in these scenes, right? Like, can we get a little bit more than some little thin jackets? And so this is the main scene where like a lot of the A-list actors. So this was Chadwick Boseman, this was Angela Bassett, this was Lupita. Who else am I missing? Yeah, it was those three. And so we're in between cut scenes, and finally, they're like, all right, cut, take, you know, we're going to check it out, look at it. Everybody kind of take a little break. And I'm still out here by this plane just kind of soloing it, right? And I'm like,
so you have to stand there while they're cutting and checking everything.
Yes. And I mean, it was gruesome. It was gruesome. I'm like, man, I don't see how people do this. And so finally, the A-list actors, they come up and they're by this little warm heater thing, and Miss Bassett invites me over and is like, hey, you know, come on over here. And, you know, of course, it's a rule that, you know, the extras are not really supposed to be associated with the A-list actors. You know, it's a real separation thing. I didn't even realize how separated it was until I got on set. And so, of course, I'm looking around like, you know, you talking to me? I'm like, okay, all right. Cool, you know, and this was before I really got to know who Chadwick or Lupita was. So I hadn't, like I said, hadn't been in the industry, so hadn't really known them like that. So, you know, I come over to the huddle, you know, I'm getting warm and everything, and everybody just kind of just random talking, speaking, and Lupita's freestyling, you know, and I'm just like, all right, like, these some cool people, like, this what's up, you know, and everybody's just kind of looking like, is she really over? And I'm looking like, the queen invited me over here. Just so y'all know, like, I didn't bring myself over here. She told me to come here, so I'm here, you know. And so we all just chilling, just really just vibing, just vibe. I think they started a whole little freestyle session. And
did you freestyle at all?
I don't freestyle. Nah, I just like I just like to vibe.
Now you was there.
My brain be processing too many things at one time to get it out in words. I freestyle it up here, but to come out in words, yeah, it might not be right.
Now you said you was out there for 7 months, right?
I was back and forth for 7 months.
So like anywhere, like during that time, was there any kind of sense of that this film was going that could have been historic? Like, did it feel like it was doing something historic?
The time it didn't, but because of the type of people and the energy, and like that was my first time being on a set like that, but like Ryan Coogler's energy is just different. Like talking with him was like me being back on the football field again. He was literally like a football coach. Like that's how he operated, and the energy, his hypeness, like everybody's energy there was just very different from
so he can be. Because what I always tend to hear about Ryan Coogler is that he's very soft spoken.
He is, but when he's in his zone, or like, and I don't know, it might have just been the moments because it was just so much. The energy was just so hype in certain scenes where it was just like you just saw another side, And then when I actually got a chance to just sit and talk with him, I think it was, I can't remember if it was playoffs going on, or I know it was some games or something going on. That's when I realized, okay, he's a football fan, but it was unique because it was like, okay, like how he, I guess, manages everything. It reminded me of somebody that was like coaching their players. It's like, all right, yeah, let's do this. All right, yeah, let's do that. No, I like that. That's cool. And it was even to the point where a scene that me and Chadwick had in that first day of set, me and him eyed each other like, okay, it's something missing in this. Like, we need to do something. It's a gap. It was like an empty gap, and we both kept noticing it. And it was like, all right, let's try something. So he walks over, Chadwick walks over, and he's like, we kind of give each other that look like, you feel that little awkwardness space right there too? And he's like, yeah. And we introduce each other to ourselves, and then that's when we come up with the whole X, And so he goes over to Ryan. He's like, yeah, we're gonna do this in this scene. Basically, it was just we improv some stuff, and he liked it, and that's when I realized, oh, okay, pretty cool, down to earth, that, and that I just started opening up conversations, and it started giving me kind of reality of what just movies are and the things that go on behind it that people just really don't see, but it was more so a perspective like, okay, he's not one of those directors where it's like my way or the highway. He's more so he's open to people, ideas, and things that can make a project come together, and that's what I liked about him. It's like, okay, he's a real team player. Like, he listens to his people, his trusted people who he has in his corner, and he puts things together to help it all make sense, to where it looks good, and he takes the advice of his closest folks to be able to collaborate it, it takes, I think in senses like that, it takes special kind of people to be able to work with everybody, to be able to bring something together, because everybody can't work with everybody, I've seen that 100 times.
yeah, you're right about that.
Now, when the movie came out, like, did you go see it like the first day, or did you wait a few days?
So I was actually, crazy thing is, I got invited to the different premieres in the different cities. So when the trailer, because I was featured in the first trailer and didn't find this out until the NBA, they aired it during the NBA Finals game.
Oh,
yeah. And then that's when everything just took off. I mean, it literally just took off. My social media started blowing up. My phone started blowing up. Everything went ballistic,
Hey, did you get those old friends or old exes or old family members talking about some, hey, what's up, cuz, or whatever?
Got any brand new cousins?
When I say people came out the woodworks, it was like, what? We ain't spoken in years. Like, what? Huh? Like, hey, how you doing? Like, and then of course it was, oh man, why you didn't tell us you was in the movie? It was this, and of course with Marvel, like it's really confidentiality, really
Right.
serious. You know, it's like you can't speak on nothing. That might be your career. You talking about something might end it off. Yeah, so that opened up a whole new gateway for me because my social media took off and just everything because of people who knew me in the different fields of stuff. It started questioning a whole lot. You know, people wanting to have interviews. Like it went crazy literally overnight.
So like, did the local news try to talk to you?
Oh yeah, they did. They did. I ended up on quite a few news stations, different events. Like so, what ended up happening? The obviously, I wasn't on the A-list actor status to be like in Hollywood, but I pretty much was able to cover a lot of the pre-screenings that they had and that Marvel was collaborating with in other cities, because obviously the bigger actors were too busy doing other stuff, you know. And then
so, what were some of these cities you were at?
I did Dallas. I had an event. I had a fitness event with them up in DC, and then I had a big red carpet event in Arkansas. I feel like I'm missing one.
And this is a very busy part of your life.
Huh?
This is a very busy part of your life.
Very,
Right.
very. I mean, when I say a blur, like everything took off. I mean, between sleeping on drives to tour and planes was pretty much the only sleep I was really getting. You know, it was literally like you would have thought it was like a music tour I was on, but it was just appearances. You know, and then I decided instead of after we finished on set, when we wrapped, instead of going on to the other movies and the Avengers like some of my other comrades, I decided, I was like, yeah, I need to take a break. I need to go talk to the people. I need to get in the communities. I need to let my story be told, you know, because it was different,
Right.
you know, and a lot of people have never done it the way I did it, you know. And I was like, you know, I said, people need to know that it's more than one way to be able to hop into the industry. You know, everybody thinks you got to go to school for this. Everybody thinks, oh, well, if you don't have years under your belt, you can't make it, you can't be successful. And so I was like, you know, I got to get in the communities and do what I do best. You know, I'm an educator and a motivator, and I'm for the people first. You know, I said, I hopped into the acting thing off a whim, and I did great with it. I made connections, and I took being an extra to a whole nother level, to the point where by the time I left, I ended up being a featured extra. They put me in so many scenes where I literally I changed it. You know, being on set, you know, they was like, oh yeah, that's the GOAT for all the extras. That's the GOAT right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, he the only one being here since day one. Like, he a GOAT. You know, and it was like when new people started coming in, it's like, yeah, you need to holler at him. You might want to.
Right. So I got a question. So did Oprah hit you up personally and was like, hey, I saw you in the movie?
I wish. That would have been cool. That would have been cool. But nah, it didn't. It actually was cool to be able to take this. So they took the still picture that's out there on the web on me. They took that from the trailer and was able to kind of create my own self-image of that. And that's what was able to kind of really lead everything else off. I got permission from Marvel to be able to recreate my costume that I wore in the movie. And so that kind of ended up also venturing cons. And which that was a whole nother world within itself, you know. That's been fun. Yeah. Like, I didn't realize, like, I got reached out to from Bell County. Bell County was my first Comic-Con, and it was thousands of fans started reaching out to me and was just wanting me to come down. Yeah, in Texas.
Okay, yeah, because I was born in Bell County.
Really?
Yeah, Killeen.
Mm-hmm. Ah, okay.
Well, yeah.
You familiar with the whole area? Yeah. Yeah, so they were. I had never heard of Bell County before the Comic-Con, so I'm like, wow, all these people reaching out, you know, from this little city. I'm like, and I'm from Dallas, so I'm thinking like, wow, have I never heard of this place, you know? And I'm thinking like, okay, I didn't realize I had fans out there like this, you know. I mean, probably 10, 15,000 fans out there. It's like, okay, so the owner reaches out he wants me to, invites me out to it. And I'm like, cool. Like, I got a huge fan club out here. Like, this is crazy, and by this time I've probably went up 20, 30,000 followers within the month. So it's just, when I say it's just
So,
ridiculous.
so did you ever get those fans that were like, I would do anything?
Oh yeah. Like when I say I understand it, I have a better understanding of why some celebrities react the way they act, because it can get real overwhelming, outside of what people see on TV. Like, folks get crazy, and I had a lot of these Comic Cons I was showing up to where, it was tens and thousands of fans, like literally. And I mean, I realized people do anything to be able to get a picture or autograph or whatever. Like, sometimes they do too much, and it's like,
Yeah, you just leave it right there.
Yeah.
Just leave it right there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
You're trying to keep this somewhat family friendly.
oh yeah. But it's
Not all the way though.
it's like,
More like Cinemax in the 90s.
I ain't talking
What?
Not like full porn, but like
what?
What?
What is he talking about?
Man, what are you talking about?
I was just gonna say something about telling a joke. Man, this
okay.
man went to like.
I'm sorry. I guess we had two different trains of thought. Apparently,
Man,
my apologies. Yeah. Allow me to move on. So, we never actually like. So, what was the experience like seeing yourself on the big screen?
It was exciting, honestly. I remember the first premiere I went to. I was actually a little worried because we had got word during the rap party that all of the King's Guards had been X'd from the whole project. So I'm thinking in my head, like, wait a minute. And this was probably a little bit before the trailer came out. And I'm like, wait a minute. So they just cut us all out the movie? Like, we did all this work? Like, I know they say everybody don't make the drawing board or the cutting board. But
Because you've been driving back and forth for a few months.
Right.
I'm like, like I didn't get paid to make that movie. It was more so for my peace of mind. I went broke actually making that movie, going back and forth, but I was like, it wasn't about the money for me. It was literally just peace of mind, something different. And so to see myself make the screen, well, first make the main trailer, that was mind blowing. I'm like, and they played it during the NBA Finals game. Like, people have seen this all over the world, and I've seen the scene just in some of the different Marvel movies and clips too. So it's like, yo, this is bomb. And then to actually go and see the movie and see that I still made almost every scene that I was in. Oh yeah, I was hyped. I was in there geeked up. And then I almost wanted to run down the aisle every time I saw myself, like, oh, yeah, oh.
you're like, you see me? That's me.
Hey,
Right there.
Hey, I made it. like, whoa, like it took me back into the movie. Like, I felt like I was back there again. It was like being on set again. But it was more so being able to see, oh, okay, this is what we had to imagine was here, or because we obviously didn't see anything while we was on set. We had to just visualize what it was supposed to look like,
right,
how it was going to turn out, so to actually see how they put it together was amazing. It's like, oh man, that's what we was doing in that scene, or that's what we was looking at, or that's how they came out. Like, it was like, whoa,
right.
This is some real technology right here. This is amazing, and I had never really, like I said, that's the first time I had ever really gone through a movie to that extent, to where I could see all the workings behind the scenes, and so to see it all put together, it's like, wow, we did a great job. Like, all this hard work turned out to be amazing.
All that traveling and all them, all that was paid off for you.
This was well worth it.
I'm like, well worth it. It was a lot to take in though, because it was like, oh man, okay, like, it was so much going on, but I was like, oh man, this is amazing. I'm like, and then I had to ask myself, like, man, I told myself I never wanted to get in the movies, and here I am on the big screen, and then to just watch the numbers of it, how it rose, around the world. It's like, yo, I hopped in something.
You went
that
from not wanting to be in a movie to being into pretty much one of the highest grossing movies of all time.
Right.
Literally.
You went to 0 to an absolute 100. So now as we wrap this up, I wanted to ask you, like, how does it feel like seeing the impact of this movie have with other like young African Americans, and how this film is basically is his historical impact?
So that actually brings me to the new movie project that we have coming out here. So that movie obviously inspired a lot of our community, right?
Right.
It brought out the roots, the culture. It brought a lot of us together. It brought other cultures together just because of the movie itself. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it was all about, okay, we need to use this opportunity. This is like a moment in Black history of being able to, that's actually something that the people can not only relate to, but can also bring us together, which is obviously a problem in our community. We don't know how to work together collectively to get to the same goal, you know, and that's always been a problem in the bigger picture of the cases. So I wanted to use this as a platform to be able to kind of bring in the culture and especially the youth, because it was something that they can relate to, you know, and they can actually, this was something that, you know, it's not like how it was for us where we could sit here and watch a Black History or a Malcolm X or something and we would get it. This generation doesn't get it the same way, you know. So this movie was able to depict something more that allowed us to be able to have something kind of like a middle ground, a middle piece, to be able to glue everybody together. And what I've been able to take from it just recently, we just finished filming this movie in Ghana, based on mental health, and it was because of the impact of Black Panther. The director reached out to me and wanted me to play as the main character for it, and it's the first big collaboration for somebody from obviously the caliber of this type of coming from Black Panther to collaborate with the country of Ghana. And so the project, this next one is huge, but we're looking at it to bring the same type of influence, which is pretty much touching on things that are happening in our community with our people and showing that, look, as one and collectively, we are powerful and we can do a lot. You know, we can take over the world, you know, and now this new project that we're releasing, we have a couple premieres here in the States. We actually have the next one, June 10th, that's going to be here in Arkansas. And we're looking to hopefully do it on at least 4 more states here in the U.S. before we have the grand red carpet for it back in Ghana. But essentially, it's kind of giving the same message. It's touching on mental health, but it's also touching on something that is widely known but not widely talked about in our community, which is dealing with the mind. And especially as it comes to our folks, we're not accepting of the fact that, look, I got something mentally going on, because it's a cultural thing. Nobody wants to talk about, you know, having mental health problems. You know, that's not a thing to talk about, even though it's obvious, you know. But a lot of it is giving something that's relatable to the point where it's helping youth to be able to relate to something. It's helping adults to be able to relate to something. And just like I say, as a whole, collectively, bringing us in on something that's not only positive, but is also leaving a message, most importantly.
I think that's a great way to end it. Hasaan, I wanted to thank you for taking time out to speak to us today.
Yes, indeed. I thank you guys for having me.
I am once again Kevin Mumphrey with my associates Karsten Farguson and Victoria V.A. Jones.
What's going on?
And that is a wrap.